Las Vegas, August 1966. The Sands Hotel, VIP Lounge, 2 a.m. The show had ended 2 hours ago. The casino floor was still buzzing. High rollers playing blackjack, roulette wheels spinning, money changing hands. But the real action was in the VIP lounge. Private room, invitation only, where the wealthiest guests gathered after shows. Dean Martin was there, not performing, just unwinding, drink in hand, talking with friends. At a table near the bar sat Richard Holbrook, 58 years old, Texas oil money, net worth $80 million, loud, drunk, used to getting whatever he wanted. Holbrook had been at Dean's show earlier, front row, paid premium prices, expected to be entertained. He was entertained, but now he was bored. And when Richard Holbrook got bored, he got mean. Dean was talking with Joey Bishop, laughing about something that happened during the show. Holbrook's voice cut through the conversation, loud, slurred. "Hey, Dean, come over here." Dean looked over, didn't recognize the guy. But the VIP lounge was full of people he didn't know. High rollers, wealthy strangers, people who paid for access. Joey whispered, "You don't have to go." Dean shrugged. "It's fine. 2 minutes." He walked over to Holbrook's table. 3 other men sat with him, all drunk, all wealthy, all looking for entertainment. "Mr. Holbrook, enjoying your evening?" "Sit down, Dean. Have a drink with us." Dean stayed standing. "I appreciate the offer, but I was just heading out." "Come on, 1 drink. We're celebrating. Just closed a deal. $10 million. Biggest oil contract in Texas history." Holbrook gestured to a chair. Dean sat, just to be polite, just for a minute. "Congratulations on your deal." "Thank you. You know, I loved your show tonight. You're a funny guy. Real funny. I'm glad you enjoyed it." Holbrook leaned back, sipped his bourbon, grinned. "You're Italian, right?" Dean's face stayed neutral. "Yes. My grandfather was Italian. Came over on a boat. Worked in the coal mines. Tough old bastard." "Sounds like a hard worker." "He was. But he never learned English. Not really. Spoke broken English until the day he died. Always with that accent. Mamma mia, this. Mamma mia, that." Holbrook laughed. His friends laughed with him. Dean didn't laugh. "Your mother Italian too?" Holbrook asked. "Yes." "She speak English? Or is she one of those who never bothered to learn?" Dean's jaw tightened. "She speaks English. But with an accent, right? I bet she sounds just like my grandfather. Pizza pie, spaghetti, mamma mia." Holbrook did an exaggerated Italian accent, loud, mocking. His friends laughed harder. Dean set down his drink. "Mr. Holbrook, I'm going to give you a chance to stop talking." "What? I'm just joking around. Italians have a sense of humor, right?" "Not about this." "Come on, Dean. Don't be sensitive. I'm complimenting your people. You guys brought great food to America. Pizza, pasta. What would we do without you?" one of his friends chimed in. "And wine. Don't forget the wine." They all laughed again. Dean stood up. "Gentlemen, enjoy your evening." He started to walk away. Holbrook called after him. "Hey, Dean, does your mother still speak English? Or does she only know Mamma Mia?" Dean stopped, turned around slowly, walked back to the table. "What did you just say?" Holbrook grinned, thought he was being funny, thought Dean was playing along. "I asked if your mother speaks English, or if she's like my grandfather, one of those Italians who came to America but never really became American. You know what I mean. They're here, but they're not really here." Dean's voice was ice. "My mother's name is Angela Crocetti. She came to America in 1914 when she was 16 years old. She left everything she knew, her family, her home, her country. She came with nothing." Holbrook rolled his eyes. Yeah. We all know the immigrant story. She worked as a seamstress, 12-hour days, 6 days a week, sewing clothes for rich people who wouldn't even look at her. She sent money back to Italy to help her family. She saved every penny. That's nice. But did she learn English?" Dean leaned forward, put both hands on the table, looked Holbrook directly in the eyes. "She speaks 3 languages, Italian, English, and love. That's 1 more language than you speak." Holbrook laughed. "Love? That's not a language. It is when you sacrifice everything for your children, when you work yourself to exhaustion so they can have a better life, when you go without so they never have to. Sounds like every immigrant sob story I've ever heard." Dean's voice got quieter, dangerous quiet. "My mother raised 4 children while working full-time. She cooked, cleaned. Made sure we had food on the table every night. She taught us to be grateful, to work hard, to treat people with respect, even people who don't deserve it. I'm sure she's a saint. She is, and you just mocked her, in front of your friends, for being Italian, for having an accent, for coming to America and building a life. Holbrook's grin faded slightly. Hey, I was just joking. You weren't joking. You were being cruel. There's a difference. Dean stood up straight. My mother is 68 years old. She's never hurt anyone in her life. She's never asked for anything. She's never complained. And you just made fun of her accent, her heritage, her sacrifice. Dean, come on. You want to insult me? Fine, I can handle it. I've been insulted by better men than you. But you don't get to insult my mother. Dean turned to the casino manager, who'd been standing nearby. Frank, get him out of here. The manager hesitated. Dean, he's a VIP. He's staying in one of our suites. I don't care. Get him out of my lounge. Dean, I can't just... Dean's voice cut like a knife. This is my venue. My name is on the marquee. I'm telling you to remove him, now. The manager looked at Holbrook. Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. Holbrook stood up, face red, angry. Do you know who I am? I'm Richard Holbrook. I own half of Texas. I can buy this hotel 10 times over. Dean didn't blink. Then buy it, but until you do, you're in my space. And you just insulted my mother, so get out. You can't do this. I just did. Holbrook threw his napkin on the table. Fine, I'll go. But you're making a mistake, Martin. A big mistake. I have friends in this town, powerful friends. I'll make sure you regret this. Get in line. Holbrook and his friends stumbled out of the VIP lounge. Drunk, angry, humiliated. Dean sat back down with Joey. Joey stared at him. You just kicked out an oil millionaire. I kicked out a man who insulted my mother. He's going to cause problems. Dean sipped his drink. Let him try. The next morning, Dean got a call from Jack Entratter, president of the Sands Hotel. Dean, we need to talk. About what? Richard Holbrook. He's threatening to sue. Says you assaulted him verbally, humiliated him in public. He wants you fired. Dean laughed. Fired? From my own show. He's also calling other casinos, telling them you're difficult to work with, trying to damage your reputation. Let him. Dean, he's serious. He's got money. He's got connections. He can make things difficult. Jack, he insulted my mother. Called her a dumb Italian who never learned English, made fun of her accent, her heritage. You want me to apologize for defending her? Silence on the other end. Finally, Jack spoke. No, I want you to do what you need to do. Good, because I'm not done yet. What do you mean? Dean hung up. Over the next week, Dean made phone calls to every casino owner he knew, to every hotel manager, to every entertainment director. Richard Holbrook, Texas oil money. He's banned from my venues. I'm asking you to ban him from yours. Why? Because he insulted my mother, made racist jokes about Italian immigrants, and I won't work in any venue that welcomes him. Most of them agreed immediately. Dean Martin was the biggest draw in Vegas. If Dean wouldn't work somewhere, it cost them millions. A few hesitated. Dean, he spends a lot of money here. Then choose, him or me, but you can't have both. They chose Dean. Within 2 weeks, Richard Holbrook was blacklisted from every major casino in Las Vegas. The Sands, Caesar's Palace, the Desert Inn, the Riviera, the Flamingo, the Tropicana. All of them. Banned. Holbrook tried to fight it, called lawyers, threatened lawsuits, pulled strings with powerful friends. But Dean Martin had more powerful friends. Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis Jr., Joey Bishop, Peter Lawford, the entire Rat Pack. Every one of them backed Dean. You insult Dean's mother, you insult all of us. Within a month, Holbrook couldn't get a room in Vegas, couldn't get a table, couldn't even walk into a casino without being escorted out. He tried going to the press. Dean Martin is abusing his power, blacklisting paying customers because of a joke. The press didn't care. Most of them were on Dean's side. One journalist wrote, Richard Holbrook mocked an elderly immigrant woman for having an accent. Dean Martin defended his mother's honor. We know whose side we're on. In September 1966, 1 month after the incident, Holbrook showed up at Dean's house, unannounced, uninvited. Dean's security stopped him at the gate. Mr. Martin isn't seeing visitors. Tell him Richard Holbrook is here. Tell him I want to talk. Dean came to the gate himself, looked at Holbrook through the iron bars. What do you want? I want to apologize. Too late. Dean, please. I made a mistake. I was drunk. I said things I shouldn't have said. You mocked my mother, made jokes about her accent, called her ignorant, in front of strangers. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. Dean studied him. Why are you really here, Richard? Because you're sorry? Or because you're banned from every casino in Vegas? Holbrook's face flushed. Both. I need the ban lifted. My business partners are starting to ask questions. It's embarrassing. Embarrassing? You humiliated my mother and now you're worried about being embarrassed? Dean, I'll do anything. I'll apologize publicly. I'll donate to charity. Whatever you want. Dean shook his head. You don't get it. This isn't about money. It's not about publicity. It's about respect. I respect you. You don't respect me. If you did, you wouldn't have said what you said. It was a joke. Jokes are funny. What you said was cruel. There's a difference. Holbrook tried again. Dean, your mother probably doesn't even know what I said. Why are you holding on to this? Dean's eyes went cold. My mother doesn't know because I didn't tell her. Because I protected her from knowing that some rich drunk made fun of her accent, made fun of her sacrifice, made fun of everything she worked for. Then why? Because I know, and that's enough. You insulted her, you mocked her heritage, and you thought it was funny. That tells me everything I need to know about you. What can I do to fix this? Nothing. The ban stays. You're not welcome in Vegas. Not in my venues, not in any venue that respects me. That's not fair. Dean stepped closer to the gate. You want fair? My mother worked 12-hour days so her children could eat. She saved pennies so we could have shoes. She sacrificed everything so we could have opportunities she never had. And you made fun of her for having an accent, for not speaking perfect English. Where's the fairness in that? Holbrook had no answer. Dean turned to walk away, stopped, looked back. You know what my mother taught me? That a man's character isn't measured by his bank account. It's measured by how he treats people who can't fight back. And you failed that test. Dean walked back to his house, left Holbrook standing at the gate. Richard Holbrook never returned to Las Vegas. The blacklist stayed in effect, permanent, no appeals. He told friends it didn't matter. Vegas is for tourists anyway. But everyone knew the truth. He'd been humiliated, expelled, banned from the entertainment capital of the world, all because he made fun of an elderly Italian woman he'd never met. Dean never told his mother about the incident. Angela Crocetti lived until 1985. She was 87 years old. In all those years, Dean never mentioned Richard Holbrook, never told her what had been said, never let her know someone had mocked her, because that's what sons do. They protect their mothers, even from insults they never heard. Angela died believing everyone loved her, everyone respected her, everyone appreciated her sacrifice. And Dean made sure it stayed that way. In 1982, Dean was doing an interview with Barbara Walters. You're known for being easygoing, laid back. But there's a story about a Texas millionaire you banned from Las Vegas. What happened there? Dean's face hardened, just slightly. He insulted my mother. What did he say? It doesn't matter what he said. What matters is he said it. But you used your power to ban him from every major casino. That's a pretty extreme response. Dean looked directly at Barbara. My mother came to America with nothing. She worked harder than anyone I've ever known. She sacrificed everything for her children. And this man, who'd never worked a day in his life, who inherited his money, who'd never sacrificed anything, made fun of her. Because she had an accent? Because she was Italian? Because she was an immigrant? Because she spoke with an accent that reminded him she wasn't born here? Do you regret what you did? No? Not at all? Not for 1 second. You insult my mother, you deal with the consequences. Even if it means using your power to destroy someone's social life? Dean leaned forward. Barbara, let me ask you something. What's power for? Is it just for making money? For getting better tables at restaurants? For having people kiss up to you? What do you think it's for? I think power is for protecting the people you love. My mother couldn't defend herself against a drunk millionaire in a Vegas casino. She wasn't there. She didn't know it happened. But I was there. I knew. And I had the power to make sure he never got the chance to do it again. So I used it. Don't you think that's an abuse of power? I think letting it slide would have been an abuse of character. When Angela Crocetti died in 1985, Dean was devastated. He didn't perform for 6 weeks, canceled shows, stayed home. At her funeral, he gave a eulogy that made everyone cry. My mother never asked for much, never complained, never wanted recognition. She just wanted her children to have better lives than she had, and because of her, we did. His voice broke. She taught me everything that matters: how to work hard, how to be grateful, how to treat people with dignity. And most importantly, she taught me that your heritage isn't something to be ashamed of. It's something to be proud of. He looked at his siblings, his children, his grandchildren. My mother spoke with an accent, her whole life, and she was embarrassed by it sometimes. She'd apologize for not speaking perfect English. But I never wanted her to apologize, because that accent represented courage, sacrifice, love. She left everything she knew to come to a country that didn't always welcome her. She worked jobs that people looked down on. She faced prejudice and mockery. But she never gave up, never stopped trying, never stopped loving. And if anyone ever tried to diminish her, to mock her, to make her feel less than, I made sure they regretted it. Dean's daughter, Deanna, spoke at the funeral too. My father protected my grandmother like a warrior. Nobody could say a bad word about her. Not in his presence, not anywhere. She smiled through tears. There was a man once, a rich man. He made a joke about Nona's accent. My father banned him from Las Vegas, from every casino, forever. The family laughed through their tears. That's who my father was. Easygoing about everything except family. You could insult him, mock his work, question his talent, but you couldn't touch his mother. That was the line, and he enforced it. Years later, in 1990, a journalist was writing a biography of Dean Martin. He tracked down Richard Holbrook, now 82 years old, living in Houston. Mr. Holbrook, what happened between you and Dean Martin in 1966? Holbrook sighed, old, tired, regretful. I made the biggest mistake of my life. What did you do? I insulted his mother, made jokes about her accent, her heritage. I thought I was being funny. I was drunk. I was stupid. And Dean banned you from Las Vegas? He did more than that. He taught me that money doesn't buy you respect, that being wealthy doesn't give you the right to be cruel, that some things matter more than business deals and oil contracts. Do you still resent him for it? Holbrook shook his head. I deserved it. Everything he did to me, I deserved. I mocked an elderly woman who'd worked her whole life, who'd sacrificed everything for her family, and I did it to impress my drunk friends. Did you ever reconcile with Dean? No. I tried to apologize. He wouldn't accept it, and I don't blame him. Some things you can't apologize your way out of. What would you say to him now, if you could? I'd say his mother was lucky to have a son like him, a son who loved her enough to defend her honor, a son who understood that respect for your parents is non-negotiable. Holbrook looked out the window. I have 4 sons. None of them would have done what Dean did for me, and that's my fault. Because I taught them that money matters more than character. That success means never having to apologize. That power is for getting what you want, not protecting what matters. Do you regret how you lived your life? I regret that night in 1966. I regret every word I said about Angela Crocetti. And I regret that I never learned the lesson Dean tried to teach me until it was too late to matter. That's the story of August 1966, when a drunk millionaire insulted Dean Martin's immigrant mother. When Dean could have let it go, could have been the bigger person, could have accepted Holbrook's apology. Instead, Dean Martin did something else. He used every ounce of power he had in Las Vegas to ban Richard Holbrook from the city, permanently. Not because Dean was vindictive, not because he enjoyed destroying someone, but because some lines can't be crossed. Because some people can't be defended by themselves. Because mothers deserve sons who will fight for their honor. Angela Crocetti never knew what Richard Holbrook said about her. Never knew someone mocked her accent. Never knew her son blacklisted a millionaire in her defense. She died believing everyone respected her. And Dean Martin made sure that was true, by removing anyone who didn't. That's not revenge. That's love. Fierce, protective, uncompromising love. The kind that says, you can come after me, but you can't touch my mother. The kind that uses power not for personal gain, but for protecting people who can't protect themselves. The kind that draws a line and enforces it. No matter the cost. Richard Holbrook lost access to Las Vegas forever. But Dean Martin kept something more valuable: his mother's dignity, her honor, her legacy. And when Angela Crocetti died in 1985, she died surrounded by children and grandchildren who adored her, who spoke Italian with her, who never once made her feel ashamed of her accent, who celebrated her heritage, who honored her sacrifice, because Dean Martin taught them to, by example, by action, by showing them that protecting your mother's honor is worth more than any business deal, any friendship, any amount of money. Some things are sacred. Family is sacred. Mothers are sacred. And Dean Martin made sure everyone knew it, even if it meant using his power, even if it meant being called excessive, even if it meant creating an enemy. Because when someone insults your mother, you don't negotiate. You don't compromise. You don't forgive and forget. You draw the line, and you enforce it. That's what sons do. That's what Dean Martin did. And Richard Holbrook learned that some insults have permanent consequences, not because Dean was cruel, but because Dean loved his mother. More than Vegas, more than money, more than keeping the peace. And that love, that was worth fighting for.